Hey guys, back again today. I'm losing track of the days. Day 37, continuous podcast, live 4 p.m. as usual. Got new lights in the background, as you can see. Being clueless about setting them up, and the instructions are fucking useless. So basically, it might look like I've got a Christmas tree going off in the background, that it's meant to be purple. But anyway, we are here with Lazar, George, and Jelena. How you doing, guys? You good?
Very good, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, pretty well.
Excellent. Right, Lazar, do you want to give a little introduction to yourself, please, my friend?
Yeah, my name is Lazar. I'm the owner of Seller's Alley, Amazon PPC agency. Basically, that's the shortest you can go.
Okay, you want a little elaborate on that, just while I'm sharing to groups, because I need.
Yeah,
to
of course.
Yeah,
of course. I'm into PPC for around 10 years now, and into Amazon PPC for around like last 5 years, and agency is up and running for a year or so at this point, and it has 15 people fully dedicated to Amazon PPC. We work from the office when there is no coronavirus, and we're fully focused on Amazon PPC.
Excellent. Okay, George.
Okay, I'm George.
I'm loving the hair though, George. You've got to say, let's take the elephant. Let's take the elephant out of the room. The barbers are closed. We've been on lockdown. We need to get you some clippers, yeah?
You're growing so fast, it's a bit annoying. But I'm George, founder of Clear Ads. Have been running as an agency since 2011. I've been in paid advertising since 2009 myself. We deal with Amazon, mostly Amazon sponsored ads, Amazon DSP. We do a bit of Google ads, not out of choice. We get forced that on us, and we're about to look to jump into Walmart as well. So
cool. I'm just going to say, Jelena, let's do your intros, and then we'll say hello to the people in the comments and who we're live with. Yeah.
Sure. I'm Jelena. I'm the owner of Amazonia PPC, which is an agency dedicated to product listing optimization and PPC campaign management, shortly put.
Excellent. Right. So Hasing says hello. Juan says hello, Masters. Good to see you again. Kidamoto said good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be here again. Andrew, hi everyone. Loving these sessions. Thanks, Danny. Elchin's here. Hi all. Nice to see you again. Lawrence. Hi team. Great to be watching you live today. Tiff, morning to you as well. Henrietta's back. Thank you, Danny. And guest Etienne's here. Hello, guys. Tusia is here. Good to see George Meressa. Hello from Singapore as well, which I think is Selvin, but his name hasn't come up here. Annalise is here. Hello, all. Daniel Newman listening while painting the house. Cool. Danny O'Donnell says ahoy. Sahal is here as well. Hi, everyone. Let's have a look in the feed as well. Pat Taylor is here. Elchin, Tiff recovered, Etienne. Yes. Okay. Right. So first things first, do you want to kick off the show? Observations, talking about the delays and stuff that's going on, specifically in Europe.
Sure. A lot of things have been going on lately. We're just kind of like trying to grasp them, write them down, and summarize them into some conclusions. Like weird things are going on, like price gouging claims, for example. We've seen some of our clients get their product listings suspended, even though they haven't even changed the price at all. So we looked into these price gouging claims that Amazon's been making, and they supposedly are considering everything that's above 30% from what's considered average for that specific product is price gouging, even though you haven't changed your price for months. And that's something that they are being very unclear about, and pretty aggressive. They just shut it down, and then you have to wait for weeks for seller support to actually help you with anything, any information, any of that. Also, recently we heard from some pretty serious experts in this industry that publicly Amazon is using sellers' third-party data to build their own competitive products, which is pretty something that we already kind of like knew, but it wasn't that.
That is like, I mean, it's gone. Wall Street Journal covered it, but it's not exactly old news. That shit's been happening for years. I've mentioned on the show before. One of my friends is an 8-figure seller. Amazon brazenly walked into her factory with her product, and says, "Can you make this for $1 or $2 cheaper?" And he basically said no, because he does so much business with her as well. But that's how blatant he was.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more open lately. So that's like another thing. Also, what we noticed is that they're waiving fees for a couple of, let's say, 2 weeks of worth of stock lately for a lot of countries. So this is a way of justification of delays that they have in deliveries. For example, I am waiting for a product that I ordered from Amazon UK for like weeks and still hasn't arrived yet. The situation in France, French workers in Amazon warehouses, they have unified and they have sued Amazon and they won in the court. So the whole market is being basically shut down. Spain and Italy, with the death toll of the virus that they have, completely have really, we've seen really sharp drop in sales for almost all accounts that sell in those markets. And also in the USA, one of the main issues our clients are complaining about is that they, now that they've lifted this prioritizing of the products, not only priority products can ship, but everyone else can ship also, but only 20 days worth of stock. So that makes scaling of the accounts that much harder. So basically we are working pretty intensely lately to collaborate with the other team members of our clients to make sure that we have this inventory management under control as much as we can, because some of them, they're waiting for their stock for months to arrive from China. And there's one part of that we can plan, and some of that we just can't control if the borders were closed or open and all of that. So basically, that's why I suggested that this might be one of the topics for seller sessions, because I think that some people might find it useful and share our experience, how we navigate through all of this.
Well, this has been going on for a while, and we know that if people click through from the ad through to the page and they send like a 2 or 3 week lead time, is killing in conversions, right? Because they'll just jump and go to the next one, which will sometimes say this, or in most cases say the same thing. There has been a lot of recovery, not so much in Europe, but in the US, there's been improvements on timelines. Something I also brought up and showed before is that sometimes people are seeing a 3-week timeline, but let's just say the facility center's near New York and you're searching in New York, it might be 2-day shipping. So it can give an illusion because of where the stock is held. So where you're looking at to where other people are looking at is that the lead times are different, so that you have to account for those judgments, but it's hard without going state to state to do those searches.
Yeah, and about the conversion rates, it was only temporary, I think. We've seen conversion rates rise overall, especially lately, because I think the customers are now adapted to this new situation, and this whole thing is going to work a little bit differently, and we've become more tolerant towards that, with the exception of things you really need fast, like toiletries, food and supplements, stuff like that. That's really, really essential right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyone want to pitch in on their experiences? George, what have you been seeing in terms of delivery delays and what's going on with your clients? I know you do mainly DSP, but still.
Yeah, and I think Amazon's trying really hard. They're trying to keep up with what's going on, and we're seeing delivery dates change to a few weeks, then it's all of a sudden the next day it's okay again. And that's what we've been seeing. Well, that's mainly across the UK. I've purchased some stuff on Amazon recently and it's come the next day when it shouldn't have. So they're trying to, I think, manage expectations as well, giving you the longest period of time of when products could appear. So in terms of the DSP stuff, it's not had that much of an impact. We've actually had to shut off 3 of our DSP accounts last week because they've just sold out of all stock completely. Another issue we're facing now is getting stock back in. So that's kind of some of the issues we've been facing with
Lazar, what about you?
Yeah, well, Definitely for a couple of weeks, we had a huge impact on some accounts. We see that the accounts are recovering mostly, like across all of the niches. What is really interesting, people that switch to FBM or combination of FBA plus FBM, they're doing pretty well because they managed to cover the
Both.
yeah. So for them, we try to add FBM products into existing campaigns, and to basically these guys didn't have huge problems. The main problem that occurred there is basically what Jelena mentioned, 20 days of stock. So you need to be sure that your budget is going to be at the right place so you don't overspend, and to have organic sales as well, so you don't like steal sales by using PPC. And also many people ask, should we pause PPC at this point? And the idea was not to do it.
The answer is that depends. Should we pause?
Just like always, it depends. Yeah, so one of the things that I'd like to mention there is when you're getting out of stock. In the past, you had all of the campaigns automatically being paused, but with headline search ad change a couple of months ago, I strongly suggest everybody double check their headline search ads or sponsor brand ads to see if they're running just for their logo or one or two products instead of all three. So that's one of the things that I would definitely first check at this point.
Cool. A couple of things just come up. Side B says inventory restock changes from day to day. One day allowed to ship 200 SKUs. Next day is free. What the fuck? Question mark. Anyone seen that? So he said WTH, but I kind of spelled it out. But yeah.
I can't answer on this because a lot of my clients have kind of just been so fed up with FBA recently. They've just gone FBM, and that's been kind of the solution they've gone with. And those that I have got on FBM, it's just been consistent, nothing but consistent sales since what's happened, and they're obviously in the right spaces. So
yeah. Andrew Crane is coming. Quick hint for new ASINs, 50 units restriction. Open 10 tabs, creating shipments for that ASIN, and then simultaneously open multiple shipments. Not bad. Should we switch it up? Where do you want to go next? We're going to talk about the Lazar. Do you want to talk about the changes of sponsored brands?
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to it. So, that's something that is changing like constantly, and in a couple of last months, Amazon introduced a lot of stuff when it comes to headline search ads, formerly known headline search ads, now sponsored brands. So one of the things that is new is definitely Store Spotlight with mobile only, and also video beta ads. That's something that is completely new. One part of the things that there is, you can advertise up to 100 ASINs there. Also, if you're out of stock or you're suspended for 1 or 2 ASINs there, you can still run your ads. In case you don't have any ASINs, your logo is going to show up there. And I know that a lot of people used to change their main image with lifestyle image or product image. Now, what we are seeing in our agency, most of the times those campaigns are being rejected, so you need to use your logo. And what is interesting is that we used to do it because when you go to your cell phone or your mobile device, you check your headline search ads and you have like different size of the ad. So they resize the ads now, so you can see logo plus first products. That's a huge change there. One of the interesting thing is custom image in the ad. So a lot of people are asking nowadays what's going on with that, and like how some sellers have a lot of big images in headline search ads. Well, it's custom image beta program. So if you use it, you can have huge images. The difference is at the beginning it was available for mobile phones only, and now it's available for desktop as well. What else is super interesting? That's video ads. Video ads are available for headline search ads or sponsored brand ads. For them, it's good to know that they're using keywords as a targeting method, comparing to classic ads where you can target both using keywords and ASIN targeting. So that's something that is super interesting, and that's a huge difference comparing to the last couple of months. So you can literally create 3 or 4 different creatives. So you can have like classic ads that you had in the past. You can have storefront inside. You can use videos. You can use big images. So basically, for what you had in the past, like a one campaign, now you can have 3 or 4 different campaigns.
Sounds good. Anyone want to elaborate on that before I go to questions in the feed?
I think we've also seen some success with those who have vendor accounts, and when they do sponsored brands through the vendor accounts, even if it's a Vendor Express or they're fortunate enough to have a Vendor Central, we just found that the sponsored brand ads do a lot better there.
Cool. Abe says, has anyone tested sponsored display product targeting yet?
Yes, I have.
Can we have a rundown from you, please?
Well, we have had surprisingly good results. I didn't expect a lot from display ads because they're more aimed towards brand awareness and just like generating traction for the account, like top of the funnel traffic. But what we did is target competitors' ASINs for a brand that is selling a fairly new product. So there isn't a lot of keyword volume coverage for that type of product because it's new in the market, and there is a market leader that's already established that we have targeted ASINs for, and that's worked out really well. It's like a more strategic level, like if you can use it within an existing strategy, that it might make sense. But overall, other than that, we have no other good examples in favor of profitability of these types of ads.
George.
Product display product ads. Sponsored display product targeting is what we see on DSP. So that's what we do. So when we saw it come up the other day, we we're just like, oh, that's interesting. So we've seen 50 to 60% of these type of this form of targeting actually work really well. So what we tend to do is we tend to group 1 or 2 of like the top selling items into their own groups, and then have a kind of a group of slightly more not as well performing products into another group, and they tend to be have not as good as a review count as the products that we're dealing with, or they're slightly more expensive, and that's tends to work from what we've done with DSP.
Cool. Lazar, do you have anything you want to add here?
Yeah, it's a great way to do cross targeting as well, like to do cross sales. So you don't necessarily need to advertise your product on other products that are in the same niche, like the same exact product. Maybe they go well together, like complementary. So it's all about A/B testing, and as you say, it depends. So it really depends if you should target just your main competitors, because you cannot afford to outbid them for the main keywords. So sometimes you really try hard to overtake the main position for certain keywords, but you cannot afford it. So you do ASIN targeting, and that's one of the ways how to do it. And also, if those guys that you're targeting are doing cross targeting of their products, basically doing defensive campaigns, maybe you should expand further and so on. So yeah, be creative. Try not only to target the same product types, but also try to advertise on different groups. There is a tool called, I think, Yassiv or something like that, that would show all of the products that are cross-targeting each other. So you can get some ideas, like if you are selling, I don't know, coffee cups or stuff like that, and somebody is selling coffee beans and all of that, like stuff that usually go together.
Cool. Just say some hellos. Peter Lee is here saying hi, good evening. Pat Taylor says hello, everyone. We've got Owen says hi all, put me in the late register. Owen, you'll get a smack on the bottom, go to the headmaster's office. Mazari is hello friends, great to hear from you from Canberra, 1 a.m. here in Australia. Now, Andrew's come in with a question about advertising product bundles. Any thoughts, any experience? Kicking off with you, George, first.
Selling any bundles? To be honest, no. I'm not, yeah.
That was easy enough, right?
Yeah.
Should we move on? See my lights playing up again. Look, it's changed colour. It's like a brothel in here. Look at the background. Lazar, you go next, please.
Yeah, well, to be honest, as George said, not a lot of campaigns for that. So I cannot tell you like this is doing pretty well.
Okay. You going to give me something?
Yeah. I have a client.
Hey.
I have a client that's like really into Kickstarter and crowdfunding and into bundling. He's a big bundler, so we sell a lot of bundles.
He's a big bundler.
Yeah, that's how he calls himself. Anyways, basically PPC doesn't work really well with keywords that are mixed up, or for any type of product that you don't have a very clear definition, vocal definition of, basically, which means it works well. PPC works well for those bundles that people are used to buy together. Like, for example, shampoo plus conditioner, where you have a lot of keyword volume coverage for those types of products, where you bundle them together for a lower price, and it works. And especially if it's a product that has a very high recurring sales potential. But when it comes to bundling two things together that customers aren't used to seeing together, that doesn't really work well with PPC, unless it's something that's very price competitive. Then you can you can target the main product and treat the other part of the bundle as something that's like an extra or a gift.
Yeah. So when with these bundles, if you've got an opportunity to use these search terms where there's the word sets in them, that's going to be closer to the conversion when you talk about shampoo and a conditioner. When you talk about a shampoo set, it can include conditioner. Therefore, in some cases, the conversions would be higher. But I understand what you're saying. If you've got products that are two independent things but could work together, they're congruent, but they're not necessarily related, then it's hard, because they'll search on it, they'll find one product out of two, but they don't need the other one. Therefore, they're not going to buy the bundle. So you need to be a bit careful with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
One thing that we did find is in the past, when we saw that one of the products for one of our clients wasn't doing well, they were going to bundle it into a group of products. But instead, what we tried is, and it was a cheaper route, was to put that product with into sponsored brands, and then that product would piggyback off the reviews of the other two products, and that helped with some sales for that product to just get it off the inventory, or get it out of stock of Amazon. Yeah.
Cool. Where else, guys, do you want to go today? What other stuff should we cover?
I would love to go a little bit outside of Amazon, because just from my experience, because a few of our clients have kind of they're still doing okay on Amazon, but they've decided to kind of jump onto the other PPC platforms that are out there. So in particular, Google Ads has been one. And just to kind of for those who haven't jumped into Google Ads, there's so many different options. It's got much more people searching on it than Amazon does. So you can easily waste money, but you got the options of advertising for Google Search, the Google Display Network, Google Shopping, and there's like a list in that within the different types that you can do, and you've got YouTube ads as well. So we've been playing around with that. We've seen some good results of a client who got taken off for selling hand sanitizers in the UK. But he went into Google Search, and we've seen some really good results, and the Display Network as well. So
have you not seen any capping yet for hand sanitizers? Because they've done it with masks. In Google Search, I think it's in the...
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. We're spending a few thousand a day on that, and it's like...
Right. How long the question is, how long have you been selling? Like when you sell like tickets, I know with seller sessions, I had to get a certification in order to sell my own tickets on my own website, even though they were using Eventbrite. There are some cases with search terms, especially PPE, that there's a restriction on. I don't know if you've encountered that, whether your person spun up a site and started selling hand sanitizer, or they've already done it for a long time, therefore they've got the history.
No, it's really funny because they sell glitter, and then they found the stuff that's in their glitter it has the ingredients for the hand sanitizer. So they've already got the factory, the approval, everything, and then they were on Amazon, but then it got taken off. And the chap just said, "Look, can we do Google?" And we did it, and it's going well. And I think there's certain triggers on Google. So you have to avoid certain terms. And as long as you kind of abide by that, you can be okay. With masks, I had a few people come up to me and ask me to advertise masks. Man, that's so hard. I've tried everything.
What are you finding the cost per click on masks at the moment?
Oh, it'll be nothing. It'll be like pennies. But the problem is, I put an ad up, it gets disapproved. I put 15 variations of an ad.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in mask protector. I'm in face protector. I'm putting in PPE equipment. And it just keeps getting triggered. And then the keywords, I found a way around that. I just avoided certain terms, but then it's just the ads. So that's just been a problem from the beginning. We are now about to try a DSP. So I had a client who had masks up in Europe for 18 hours, did over $250,000 in 18 hours, and then he got taken off. So he's like, "Can we do DSP on it?" So I'm now just going through the route. I've created an audience just to see if it gets approved. I've literally just checked and it has been approved. The next obstacle is the ad. With the ad to get it to the website be approved. Now, if that's approved, then he's laughing. But that's kind of where we're at the moment. So we're just trying to find different routes around this, because there are some people advertising. I don't know how they're doing it, and it's kind of killing me because I don't know how they did it. But like they are, if you search on Google, they're appearing. They were appearing when I checked anyway. Just to segue a little bit, something that I noticed that not many people talk about is kind of the Google Shopping actions. So I guess my big thing about this is, I think in the past when doing Google ads, it's always missed the trick, because of Amazon, the key metric for rank is always going to be sales. It's about sales, add to cart, whatever it is. But it's all about how can we provide the best for our customers. Whereas with Google, once the traffic goes from the ad to the website, they have no control. So it's always been about the click-through rate and the quality score. So that's been their main metric. So it's from an e-commerce point of view, it's been difficult. But Google Shopping Actions allows you to, it's like a marketplace on Google, like Amazon on Google, and it allows you to place your products on there. And I'm very optimistic about where Google could take this. We've had a few clients go onto Google. So we've tried them on Google Shopping, regular Google Shopping, it didn't work. They went on to Google Shopping Actions, and it worked really well for them. And I'm just in the process of putting someone else through that now. It's just a bit long-winded, but that's kind of where we're at.
So you're full service agency as well, Jelena, aren't you? Do you do Google Ads as well, or is it just strictly AdWords? Amazon PPC.
Are you asking me or someone
else? Yeah, you. I was asking you. Yeah,
we started off with Google a couple of years ago in 2015, if I remember, and we still serve some clients on that platform. Not necessarily e-commerce, but what we've seen with Google Shopping is usually lately it works really well with automation. Basically, huge budget, something like $50,000 per month. You set it on automatic, it works beautifully. And your only job there is to optimize the feed and make sure your website is really optimized really well for SEO. And that's basically it. You will almost certainly be profitable there. But still, that kind of profit we're talking about on Google is not the same versus Amazon, where it's like, again, at least it's twice as bigger than compared to Google. So yeah, when it comes to all these channels, each channel has its own place in the sales funnel of each e-commerce business. And we also discussed that Walmart might be one of these places where you have some room to grow. And we are testing the waters with some of our clients to enter the Walmart marketplace with very little traction at the moment. But what I think that one of the strongest points for Walmart is that they have a very loyal offline customer base that is now going online, because they're going to avoid more and more going to the store personally, and they're going to keep their habits of purchasing at Walmart. So they're going online, and that definitely contributes to the overall trend of customers getting used to buying from platforms, from marketplaces versus individual e-commerce websites because of the guaranteed performance, transparency, delivery times, reviews, all these things that spoil the customer indefinitely, and that's what actually is going on right now, and lower the responsibility of purchasing for all these customers, and that's actually the trend. So basically, if I would have to choose between growing on Google and growing on Walmart, I'll try both, but still make sure that the more focus is being placed on the marketplace versus on search engine.
Yeah. George, were you about to say something?
Yeah. So just to kind of go to your first point, with Google Shopping, another little hack that we found is you got the option of creating a data feed that goes automatic from your website, and obviously you have no choice when you're doing the smart shopping. But if you go for the manual approach and you get the Google Sheet, you upload from the Google Sheet onto the data feed. What we've done is we've been playing around with descriptions. So if we wanted to rank really well for a certain product, we would just kind of add that term into this description a few times, because the feed actually picks up the information from the website. So the description is what's on the website, but on the Google Sheet, we use that as our kind of way of ranking, manipulating Google's ranking. And we've done that for a little bit now, and it's seemed to work really well. And just moving on to Walmart, I think right now it's one of the biggest opportunities. We're really trying hard to get onto it. I think we've made some real progress. One of our clients on there now is just doing over $1,000 a day on there with no PPC, and he's only been listed 3-4 weeks ago. They've got a high criteria. They're not letting anyone in, so you can apply and then you probably get disapproved if your products are not retail ready. I would definitely recommend jumping on. There's 4 big media group partners at the moment that Walmart have allowed API access, and that's Flywheel, Kenshu, Pace, and Techometrics. Techometrics have been giving me a lot of information recently, and they've been keeping me updated because they've been doing a lot on the Walmart space. So that's really interesting. And I think one of the most interesting things about Walmart is the ratio of sellers to people who buy on there. And that's much better than what you see on Amazon. And that's why the conversion rates right now are just a lot better on Walmart than what you can see. And their PPC is very different. So they have a first price auction type. You need at least $100 a day.
Gotta love that, man.
Yeah, you need to have at least $100 a day to kind of start with Walmart. So with PPC, so there's quite a few things with it. But if you can get in, I would definitely recommend it. And actually, just to give you guys a bit of a tip, if you did want to go down that route, there's a website called listingmirror.com, and it's apparently very good at just cloning all of your products listings on maybe Amazon, for example, and just putting them all onto Walmart. So it's going to save you a lot of time and effort, and it's not even that expensive. So listingmirror.com is something to check out.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, sorry for jumping in. What I've seen from our clients, people that are doing pretty well on Amazon, getting some bestseller badges or getting deal of the day on Amazon, they usually get easily listed on Walmart, and they are approached by Walmart and they get an email would you like to sell on our platform as well? And as you mentioned, for PPC, it's what used to Amazon was comparing to Google. Now that's something that is Walmart.
Gotcha. Just going back to the feed here, Site B says, is Walmart FBM only? Michael Comeback said, yes, we use third-party deliverer with 2 R's. You get a badge for using them as well. Michael Comeback and has said, and CAO Walmart is different from the USA. We had to apply separately for each, just for your information. Going back to Tiv, she said, what percentage does Google take? Well, it's a pay-per-click platform, unless you want to reframe your question so we can answer that. Henrietta says, I'm getting my Google Shopping. A few products are still pending, but thanks to Andrew Kramer here in the feed. Joe says, hello. Who else we got? Ali's here. Leo Lemon. Hello, mate. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Alex is here. Leanna is here. Ian Page is here. Jason Chu is back in the room. Abdul is here. Roland is here. Simon's here. Nigel, Kirsten, Ebru, Ahmed, Nelia, and Mazia here as well. I'm just trying to think. Is there anywhere else you guys want to go? There's got quite a lot to run in terms of time. Normally do an hour, but is there anything specific? Because I was going to float something by you guys, which is in DSP, and I kind of covered this in Prague. What would it be like once it hits Seller Central to be able to target by location? Worst case scenario, state. What a dream that would be. Let's talk about all the opportunities that you can have there, including if you can actually see where your stock is, the facility center, and you can target in those areas, that would be super fucking powerful.
Yeah. And I guess that's a platform that for those, I'm sure everyone here has been playing around with Google, has just been a common kind of feature that we've kind of got used to, was spoilt with, and the fact that it's not on Amazon is a bit it's just a bit kind of frustrating. But once that comes into Amazon, yes, like you said, if they can also integrate that information about where you have the majority of your stock, you can create separate campaigns for separate locations, and you can push those locations that have more inventory. The possibilities with that is endless.
Yeah. Lazar, dream to have that?
Yeah, that would be awesome. And also, I would think about the opposite direction as well. Like if you're selling something that is highly competitive, and other guys took like big cities where CPC is really high, when you like for example on Google Ads divide all US into states and then into cities or districts or whichever part, and like depending on how detailed you go, when you see like some smaller towns are getting better traction than bigger cities for you with lower CPC, just because all of the competitors are targeting main cities because they're pushing to the places where there is high population. On the other hand, they're leaving some towns that are completely empty when it comes to ads, so you can literally get some pretty profitable ads. I saw that somebody asked about which platform is good for PPC. This is really cool way to do on Google Ads. Just like branch out everything in small details, divide by cities, divide by devices, and so on. So you can see maybe for some smaller place and I don't know, mid-US with cell phones, you can get really good conversion comparing to targeting in LA where everybody is targeting basically.
Yeah. So basically, that will change the game absolutely for super competitive products, because you could choose 3 or 4 states, go hard there, knowing the sales volume there, revert back to your brand analytics data. Yeah. And there you're dropping on a sixpence, because obviously with AdWords, I've been using it since 2008, less so now. But even back then, it's a 1 mile circumference that you could drop it on. It's incredible in terms of the targeting. And there's so much that you could do with Amazon PPC. And it would definitely change the game on more complex, not complex, but more competitive markets, because of how much you can do. Like you said, if you can break it down by device and by city and, you know, by state or city, that would be incredible power that you would have at your fingertips. And then your ACOS could improve there as well, because you're really dialing in on where you're targeting and stuff. So that makes the playing field a lot different to what it is today.
Like huge difference. Sorry for jumping in. Like selling T-shirt in LA and like up north in March is completely different things. So
and I guess it comes down to always finding that gap or that little kind of special sweet spot where you're going to be different. And I guess if you can channel Google Ads and make it work in that way for you and drive traffic to the listings, then that's going to give you an edge where it's going to be hard for others to measure and replicate. So I know there are the issues with Amazon attribution and it's not tracking as well as it should be, and it just doesn't seem accurate. But there are things you can do. Like I think one of my favorite features I've seen anywhere is with the Google Display Network's contextual targeting. So you're able to, you know, for example, if you're selling car mats, for example, you're able to put the keyword car mat in, and then Google will scan any content relevant to car mats. If it has car mats on that page, the ad would serve on that page. And obviously you're paying so much less per click. Now, if you were able to kind of leverage that information and use Google Ads to find all content relevant to your product, use Google Ads, create amazing custom images, send it to Amazon, that could, again, be another edge that really no one can replicate if you do that. There's been one company we worked with, we took them from nothing to a few million a year, and just through the GDN. And we just found that particular product they had was doing really well through the GDN, and no one could replicate it. No one figured out how we could do it, and we've just been constantly refining over years. So that's something else to kind of, if you can, play around with the Google Display Network. And I'm sure you remember, Danny, when it first came out, it was a mess.
It's still a sack of shit now.
Yeah. No, but there's elements of it and they're making it more sophisticated. Like YouTube ads, when Google got in trouble because they were showing charity ads on anti-terrorist videos. So because they had the targeting so off, and that's focused. And just a few months ago, I was in LA, and kind of a YouTube ad. Kind of discussion was put in place, and again, there's a few people at the moment in the Amazon space that are really utilizing YouTube ads, and they're making it really work for them, and they're creating high quality video content, and they're promoting it just before content relevant to their audience, and that again is bringing in a lot of kind of middle and top level traffic, and that's something again that not a lot of sellers think about, and that's a pretty big thing to kind of factor into, I think. But yeah,
what I don't like is how they changed like I haven't used them for about a few months now, but when we were doing I think it was some retargeting ads, some display ads, and we weren't able to have excluded placements until after the fact, so you'd get a shit ton of crappy clicks, then you could exclude. I can't remember the settings now, but I remember looking at it and just thought, yeah, it's a liberty, because you end up with a load of junk, don't you? And you have to spend money, and it's all right with a display if you've got a big budget, it's good. But you need big data to really make it work and be very specific. I mean, it's hard with certain things, like especially service-based businesses. It's tough to do it that. Ebooks and freebies and stuff, it can work really well for. Like you said, top of the funnel and leading into something. But I've always struggled to harness it myself. I've attempted a lot of stuff with it, and I never really managed to harness it as well as I could. What would you suggest? Because Henrietta's asking what suggests Google Ads to target your Amazon products and stuff. I'd definitely say if you've never used a display network, don't just go in with your products. You need to set up the lead first before you go down the funnel. So content first and lead in.
Yeah, and I guess one of the most foundational things about anything you do with Google Ads, especially if you're doing it to your website, more importantly, your website than Amazon, is ensuring that you have Google Analytics in place and ensuring that the e-commerce tracking is installed and enabled, because without that, you're flying blind. And I'm only saying this because so many accounts I look at, it's just done wrong, or it's just not being implemented, and they've been throwing money onto the ad spaces and not really getting much. So ensuring that's in place is going to be key.
Yeah. Michael says here, what platforms for PPC ads other than Amazon perform the best for products under 20? Snap, FB, Pinterest, Google Shop, etc. I'd always say to any product that's $20 or lower, unless you've got something super unique, you're never really going to recover there. It needs to be a consumable product, because you need to use long-term value of a customer. It's very difficult to break even and make money at the 20 quid, because that's at the bottom end. Your product's going to work much better if they're $40 and above. And then you can dial in there as regular customers. But it's going to be tough on your website without an established brand. Anyone else want to add to that?
If it's new, so like if you enter a new market, a new marketplace, like you said, and you're one of the only people doing it, and you can get away with really low cost per click bids, then it's going to be worthwhile. But you're right, in a lot of these seasoned PPC platforms, it's really difficult to kind of justify paying 50 cents or 50p a click if your product is below 20. $20. And another place to also never underestimate is Bing ads. Don't ever underestimate Bing ads.
Yeah.
Bing ads get such a small fraction of traffic compared to Google, but actually it's been phenomenal for B2B products, and it's been phenomenal at, in terms of the price. Almost all the time, the average cost per click you pay through Bing is far less than what you pay through Google. So factor that one in too.
Cool.
And just to jump in once again, sorry. When it comes to Bing ads, people are usually super scared about doing Bing ads because they don't know how to set it up. You can easily export everything from Google Ads into Bing. It's like 2 clicks. Whenever you update something on Google, you update it on Bing as well.
Yeah, just the one thing I would say with Bing ads: watch out with the broad match, man. That will kill your account. Their broad match, when you look at the variations, they're like, how the heck is that keyword related to what you showed the ad for? So just watch out for that. It's a bit of a we stick with phrase and exact, and sometimes broad match modifier, but not much.
Interesting question from Jordan here. What's the best Amazon PPC management software? Here we go. Spin up the debate. Who's going to go first?
I'm going to hold my mouth. I'll let someone else speak first, and then
I'll say what I always say. Software is only good as the person using it. If you don't know how to harness it, you could blow up your account, because the biggest problem that a lot of people make is they'll dial in to get the lowest cost per click as possible and then blow up their account. So it's not necessarily about the software. You met them, the PPC software, and the same with the agency. They can't polish a turd. If you've got products that are shit, basically, no PPC software or people are going to be able to save it. So product first. Then if you're going to use software, which you should do if you don't have the budget to use an agency or you're doing it yourself, the software should be used to do the menial tasks there, the heavy lifting, not the lateral thinking tasks. And you must know what the parameters are in order to use it. Lazar, I'll spin that to you now.
I agree completely with you on that. Software is pretty good with some repetitive tasks, but all of that can be done through Excel. If you record a couple of macros, like for bidding or keyword harvesting, negative keyword harvesting, you can literally record your usual filters that you do. That's like 5 clicks to get to main keywords that you want to change bids or do whatever. You can record that, and whenever you bulk download the account, just click play macro, and it's going to filter out everything, change bids in a manner that you want, or add keywords or add negative keywords, re-upload back on the account, and that's it. We manage thousands of products in the accounts and in single accounts just through bulk files, and it's working flawlessly. When it comes to software, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a huge fan of them because I really like using Excel. When it comes to software, it's really good for that specific thing that it was built for. But not every software is doing everything that you want to accomplish. And PPC is super creative thing, and you want to do a whole bunch of different stuff or do a lot of A/B tests that you are not able to do using softwares. And also, every change that happens on Amazon, when it comes to Amazon algorithm, is going to affect your software, or changes like coronavirus or whatever, it's going to affect software. So every time when software needs to think, you need to jump in and fix the problem. Or if you don't do that, you're going to end up burning your money, basically.
Yeah, so which comes down to you needing to know how the software works, and then you're using the software to do the heavy lifting tasks.
Can I add to that as well? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Great. So I guess we come over predicaments where clients come to us and say, "Hey, we're using this software. We want you to manage our account with this software." So we've had to pick up different softwares, and you'll be surprised that one software works for some companies and it doesn't for others. The main softwares that we tend to dabble in is Techometrics, PackView, Perpetua, Zontools, and there's one more. There's one, Celix.
Let's be clear, all great companies. I know most of the founders of these guys, great software, but But my problem I see with people, especially newer sellers, is when they don't know about PPC, they go, don't worry, I'll get a piece of software and that's going to save it. It doesn't. You need to know how to harness it to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and also PPC software, sometimes what it does is it gives you, so like for Ticketmetrics, we love using that because some of our accounts, because they get 100 orders a day, over 100 orders a day, it's difficult to like manually do it. And if you're working with smaller volumes, manually is going to be a good option, but when you're dealing with so much, some form of automation is gonna make your life easier. So they use it for that, and then and there's some additional features like the share of voice, which you can't get through Amazon, that you can get through some softwares. So you can see the percentage of your ads serving. So it's impression share on Google, but it's share of voice on Amazon. So you got that information to contend with as well. And then so there's a few other things. Zon tools, we tend to see people use Zon tools so that they automate everything and it kind of finds keywords. But I'm not the most comfortable with that. I would like Lazar, you said, I'd like to have more of a manual, hands-on approach, because when you identify certain search terms, you can take those terms, think outside the box, try and put yourself in the customer's shoes, find other variations that machines can't really do. I totally agree with what you say, Danny. It's about having it's supposed to help you out. It's not supposed to be you pay for the software and it does it all for you. And then with most software providers, if you're not spending much and they give you an account manager, you're not going to get the best person. It's only when you start spending a crazy amount. And like you look at the big companies like Lego, and you think about Tommy Hilfiger and all those guys, they use these softwares, but they've got like this incredible account manager who is able to show them how to use it. So that's like the big difference.
It all comes back to the same thing. Find great products in undiscovered niches with search volume. If you do that, then the PPC, in most cases, you could be the worst PPC person in the world. As long as you know the basics to create visibility and you get conversion, that's all that matters. You know, when you're using an agency like ours or the guys on the show or the software, we're talking smaller percentages in the difference that it can make in some cases. Depends on how your account's set up, but always focus on your products first. Make great products, and a lot of the time, the visibility end of the thing will take care of itself. Agreed, everyone?
Agreed.
Yeah. Should we bring you in? We haven't spoken to you for a while. Talk to me about software.
Sure. My opinion is very much like Lazar's, basically. My kind of viewpoint is that as long as it gives you enough room to analyze, enough room to see that data from different date ranges, now that we have this situation with the coronavirus, it's become increasingly important to look at the same, let's say, for example, the same keywords from the last 30 days and then the last 65 days and then the last from year to date information, so that you can gather a clear understanding what's a trend and what's a fluke, so that you can take action accordingly. So that's the kind of work that you can only do manually, whether that's through bulk files or through a software. It still needs to be done. Focus and attention like that is something that you have to pay, you have to dedicate to the account if you want it to succeed. And it also comes down to that topic of this today's episode, which is inventory management. So, for example, this software doesn't really know how much units of that specific SKU you have in your warehouse that you don't have in FBA at the moment, and whether it should slow down, whether it should really ramp up PPC sales, stuff like this really come down to communication between PPC manager and the rest of the team that manages the inventory. So things like these can't really be covered easily through software and effectively as well in specific situations like these. But generally speaking, hopefully when the world comes back to normal, I think that when it comes to automation, the future really lies in artificial intelligence and software backed by it, because that's the only kind of potential, that's the only way in which software can develop that has the potential to analyze and take action at the same time, the similar way that humans do, with a lot more capacity, so to speak. And no humans will be able to compare to that if they know how to do it well and develop it well in the next couple of years and integrate inventory management to it. It's just going to be how things are going to work in the future. From my point of view, I think that there are some parts of Amazon FBA businesses that will always be on the human side, like, product packaging design or customer support or copywriting, stuff like this. But PPC is not one of those things that will.
Yeah, I mean, with our agency, we include the Amazon API, like the advertising API and MWS, so we're actually cross-referencing with inventory as well. I think that plays an important role, which is not what everyone covers. Just going to go over some shows coming up this week. So tomorrow is our part 2, failed products, funny story. Liran's back, Tim Jordan's back, and so is Norm Ferrer. That's our part 2 of all of our failed products, so we can all poke fun at each other. On Thursday, we're doing Shopify and Off Amazon part 3. Joe Reichfeld back, Miro will be here as well, and George will join us as well to give us a bit more of a rundown in terms of AdWords. And then Friday, Steve Simonson's back as the co-brand Awesomers versus sellersessions.com. Saturday is our return to Women of Amazon. This week is a profile in-depth interview with Isabella Hamilton. Sunday is a Mindset Sunday. Again, Lee Rand's back. We're going to be deconstructing Naval in part 2 of the tweet storms from his podcast. George, how can people reach you, mate?
People can reach me by going onto my website, clearads.co.uk. That chatbot will come up. Someone will respond as long as it's during like the working day or a little bit later. Or you can just email me on george@clearads.co.uk.
Did you say the chatbot comes up in working hours, or do you mean that's operated outside of working hours?
No, during the working hours it will be on and it will pop up. So I'll probably answer that, or maybe I'll turn it off at 10.
Turn it off at 10. Cool.
Yeah.
Lazar, what about you?
It's office@sellersalley.com or our website sellersalley.com. We have many chat sequence that you can talk to and leave everything like information that needs to be left.
Cool. Jelena?
You can send me an email at Jelena@amazonia.ppc.com. We also have a chatbot, but I ignore it most of the time.
you prefer the human touch. Matt Parker says, love the discussion. No unique products for George, though. I've just ordered you some hair clippers, man. Great discussion. Great discussion. Thank you, guys. Matt, thank you for everything you're doing in terms of the donations. And I know you sent, and George as well, for my the donation matching for the masks for the NHS and stuff. Thank you. Just want to say thank you to those. You two, Matt Parker and George, have both donated to the 3PL so we can get them out in the front line. Also to Howard, Ty, Peter Lee, and a few other people that I want to say thank you for the mask donations. I'll be back here again 4 p.m. as always. Hopefully the lights in the background won't flash like a fairground. Stay in, stay safe. Much love. See you tomorrow. Take care.